Warning, the following may contain duck bunnies.
Join fantasy authors Phil Tucker, Timandra Whitecastle, David Benem, Benedict Patrick, and Josiah Bancroft as they roll dice and take on the bad guys in a game of Dungeons and Dragons. 5 authors, 5 worlds, 1 adventure. It's time to get crit-faced. Previously on Crit-Faced. Having agreed to travel south to Yester Hill to retrieve the magic gem the druids stole from the winery, Kellin scouts ahead for the party. As he investigates one of the ancient cairns that litters the hillside, he hears a voice speak to him. Long have I waited for one who is worthy.
I'm going to sit here and contemplate for a moment. I seem to remember something about something in those cards.
My spear hungers for blood.
Oh no.
Who doesn't start a conversation that way? It seems perfectly safe.
Retrieve it. Retrieve my spear and rule these mountains in my stead, just like the mighty warriors from the early days of the Whispering Wall.
Where's your spear?
So you do not hear anything more from the voice. However, something inside you, something in your gut, just feels this pull towards the south of here. But
is that toward the hilltop?
It's slightly west of the hilltop. You get the impression that it's more directed at the cairns than the actual summit.
I'll go where my heart takes me.
Okay.
I'll follow the pull.
We're going to head back to the rest of the team, because the rest of the team, you guys have been delivered the news by Master Sunna that she suspects that there could be issues for Kellin. How have you reacted to that news?
Yes, the storm clouds are gathering just above the stone circle.
Wait, is Phil talking?
Yes.
Oh. I see.
Oh, no.
I'm just going to log back out. Give me a second.
Yeah.
I don't think I can.
Okay. I'm back. Master Sunna has told you guys that there's problems, maybe, with Kellin.
Well, a lightning strike and some dark clouds doesn't seem to warrant us running after McCragg. In my opinion, he is a grown man, a barbarian, and our scout. If you had seen something more ominous than a single lightning strike, I don't know.
Well, see, here's the thing I've realized about our version of a scout is that what we really mean is a sacrificial lamb. We don't have any sort of like a sense of he's going to come back, do we? We just all agree he's going to die. Is that right?
No, hardly. He's a stealthy, strapping young man, and he's going to go forth and gather information and bring it back to us. That's what scouting's about.
Master Sunna did not come back. She got into very, very bad trouble and did not return to get help.
Well,
I'm the only one, because I'm very clever, who has come back for a scouting mission when he should have, as opposed to getting brought in some sort of death-defying moment.
I will say that I'm counting on McCragg not engaging the druids in conversation.
What about his character makes you think that's plausible?
But we're talking about running because of a lightning bolt. I don't see him engaging in parley with the storm clouds either, though he is a little bit more in tune with nature. I think
Was it a sinister lightning bolt?
Did it look like
that like the druids are able to conjure lightning and like affect the weather around us?
Yes, but we sent him in there knowing that. We knew this was a druid stronghold, and there would likely be druidic sort of decorations and atmospheric sort of occurrences.
I say we draw a little closer and see if we can smell burnt flesh. And if we can, that means that he was probably struck dead, and then we should take action. And if we can't, maybe we can just at least see the burn. We can see like where he is.
Very well. All right. So, as long as I don't have to creep and crawl like a worm in the muck, because that is something that is below my dignity.
Okay, so what's the plan?
Can we get to the edge of the tree line?
Yeah, absolutely. Are you now at the moment? You guys are actually on the path still, but do you want to? Are you going through the tree line now, or are you continuing on the path?
We go into the trees just a very, very short way. We don't want to get lost, and we creep up to the trees to the edge of the line so we can at least see the scene.
It's parallel to the path?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Would you guys take take survival checks for me, please?
Reluctantly. If I crash into a bush, it is your fault.
19.
Oh, a 19.
Haha! A 5!
So, Master Son and Lord Talfrin, you guys, you becoming a bit more confident and moving through the woods. Lord Talfrin in particular, you're quite pleased with yourself, but you realise that Jean is making a mess of things. So it takes the two of you, to sort of coax him and explain to him exactly what he's doing wrong and why his concertina should be stowed away when he's moving. And so you take a little bit longer to get there, but you're pretty confident that you've moved with good enough stealth. And now you are able to see the same scene that Kellin had when he first arrived here. You see the rings of dozens of cairns around this tall hill, and it looks like this stone wall, the circular stone wall at the top of it. You probably see another lightning strike. You notice the lightning is striking the wall itself on top of the hill. And Kellin, if this is probably the third lightning strike that you've had the chance to see, and you've noticed actually at this point that yes, every time the lightning strikes, it is the black wall up on top of the hill that seems to be getting made contact with every time. Other than that, you guys don't see Kellin at the moment.
See, now I think this is a bad sign. I don't know how the rest of you feel about this.
Well, could we do like what do we need? Perception? I'm guessing. Could we detect him?
To check out. Well, first up, Kellin, can you? Well, actually, no. Kellin's done his roll already. So yes, do your perception checks, please.
Natural 20.
Okay.
And what is my perception? 3. It's 23.
Okay. Everyone else?
Nah. No.
Yeah, it's not really worth talking about.
I just poked myself in the eye.
Okay.
But how about if Lord Talfrin, would you do like an Arcana check just to make sure if there's no, druidic power going on right now?
Master Son, you do actually see Kellin. You do notice that he's down because obviously you're natural 20. Even because basically what you guys were doing is you were rolling against Kellin's stealth check. So although he was in the high 20s, your natural 20, is basically trumps everything. So you do notice him. He's just above the first ring of cairns, and he's you can see him darting between each of the cairns, basically making off towards the southwest off the hill. And we'll head back to Kellin now. Kellin, you're still feeling this draw on you. This voice that spoke to you earlier is certainly drawing you further and further along this ring, but you get the impression you're getting closer to where you're being led to. Are you happy to keep going?
I'll continue to follow it, albeit looking for any sign of danger.
Okay. Would you like to take another stealth check then, please? That's right.
17.
17. Okay. So eventually, the you realise that the pull is drawing you to one of these cairns. Now you're really far to the southwest now of the hill. You actually notice that when you look up on the top of the hill, you do see the stone circle, but actually south of the stone circle there's a copse of trees. It's the only actual vegetation other than the dead grass that you've noticed on top of the treetop, but the copse of trees was out of view from your earlier position, but you can now see it up there towards the top of the hill, but to the south of the stone wall that the lightning keeps hitting. Master Son of Kellin's now out of view as well. He's travelled sort of further around the hill, but this pull, Kellin, has drawn you to just one of the cairns of dark rocks, and you can tell that it's this cairn that you're to go to.
An innocuous cairn.
Completely innocent looking.
Yeah, just run of the mill.
Yeah, as cairns go, run of the mill is a very good description.
Give it one of the.
There's something. The pull is coming from just under these rocks.
Does there seem to be anything unusual whatsoever about this particular rock?
Do you want to do an investigation check for me, please?
My investigation again.
Please be terrible.
18.
Oh, rats.
Right, you had a look. You cannot, without moving the rock itself. You just don't get a hint. I mean, if you had to bet, you would say it's been years, if not decades, if not longer, that anything has interfered with these. I mean, there's there's soil has gathered in the cracks. Plants are growing in the soil. It just looks as if. I mean, this cairn seems ancient to you. You'd have walked past it. You've assumed that it would have never been touched in your lifetime.
And the pull seems to be coming from beneath the stones.
So yes, so clear to you. Absolutely.
Oh, I think you have to see what's under there.
I guess I'll maybe try to dig a little with my toes.
With your toes?
He's got really prehensile, long.
So you're just poking.
I have barbaric toes.
Yeah. Okay. So you poke at the toes, and as I said, these stones have been here for a while. They're firmly rooted in, but you certainly do get the impression that you'd be able to, do a bit of moving here to get underneath if you got your back into it and you just went for it with both hands.
That I could move the stone itself.
Oh yeah.
I'll give
that's
it
a
a
great idea.
I'll give it just a little.
We're not there, guys. We're not there, guys.
I'll try to give it just a very slight adjustment.
Yeah. So the stone that you feel that you're being drawn towards, you give it a bit of a tug and a bit of a shuffle, and actually the other stones that are piled on top of it begin to rumble and actually collapse a little bit around you. Yes, you have to sort of move aside a wee bit to get out of the way of these tumbling stones. But nothing else happens. You do get the impression that one at the bottom is the one that needs to go.
So if I move the one at the bottom, then are there more stones on top?
No, that's it. You disturb the ones that you're going to disturb. You just need to go for it, pull it out.
Or you really want me to do this, don't you?
There's army of druids coming out of the coast.
This is beautiful.
Benedict seems a little too eager for me to do something here.
I'm just enjoying life, man.
Yeah, I am too. I haven't died yet.
I love your use of the word "yet." I think it's brilliant.
All right, I'm going to give it a shove.
Okay.
Do it.
So what are you doing? Tell us what you're doing.
I'm just going to throw both hands on it. Wait. I'm going to grab my axe, and with my axe, I'm just going to give it a full force shove. Both arms, just really put all I can into it.
Okay. So you absolutely take your axe, shove it under the rock, and then you can see it's giving. There's no problem with that. You can get stuck into it and pull the rock aside, and underneath is a spear. Okay.
Yay.
Underneath here, it's so this spear. It's not. It is made of metal, but it just feels old to you. It looks ancient. You get the impression it's not something that even in back in your world would be of modern construction at all. You get the impression we're getting more towards sort of ancient history when people moved in herds and stuff like that. It's sort of oddly enough, despite the fact that you've got this metal here that's been sort of melted and molded in place, it seems to be pulled on to the wooden pole that's sticking out with some kind of twine or ribbon, but it seems to have been perfectly preserved somehow. Even though you get the impression that it's been for years, if not generations, underneath, buried in this cairn. Now it's just a bit of it's just poking out at the moment. You'd have to grab hold of the shaft and pull it all out to get better look. Watch yourself.
This is where my wizard friend would be really helpful, but yeah, I'm gonna take a few steps back.
Okay.
And maybe try to stealthily head back to the rest of the group.
Okay. Would you like to take a stealth check for me, please?
13.
Okay. So you're obviously a wee bit put out by everything that you've gone through, and this voice speaking to you. You're stumbling a bit as you go, and actually, guys, you see Kellin coming, and all of you do this time. It's not just Master Sunna. You can see he seems quite shaken. And Kellin, as you come down the path that the route that you'd originally moved along, you actually notice your friends there standing on the edge of the trees, or just within the trees, looking out for you, and you move over to them.
I found something.
You did?
Yeah, come with me.
No! Expound upon that first point, sir. What did you find? Did you...
Something from like when people moved in herds or something like that. It's a spear.
Oh, you
How
found
did
the
you find
spear.
And the stone was talking to me.
Wait, hold on.
Oh.
Did you find the wine? He found the wine.
What stone?
The stone, something was whispering to me. It told me that it's waited here for a very long time for someone who is worthy to wield a spear.
Yeah,
and I found the spear.
That is the call of the muse. That is how I first came to the stage. I know it well, my friend.
We've been hoping to find magic weapons, and I think this might be it. But
magic weapons.
Did you touch it?
I haven't touched it.
Oh, that's probably very sensible.
I'm ready to touch it, but I'd like maybe Lord Talfrin to see if he can sense anything unusual about it.
So Master Sunna
he can make himself
Lord
invisible, and, yes. Listen, Lord Talfrin.
Hold on. Let me get this straight. A rock bid you, Macragge, to be the next worthy chosen one and take up an ancient spear from the top of a cursed, strahd-loving druidic hill, with lightning striking all around us.
I know it seems far-fetched, but I've been around rocks my entire life, and I've never had one speak to me, and this time it did.
No, I believe the particulars. What I don't necessarily have faith in is the wisdom of obeying this disembodied voice. Did you ask it any questions?
What would you ask it?
Who are you? From whence do you come? What is
that's
the
why
name
I
of the
need
spear?
you.
Why is it buried under this hill? What will taking it up do to me? Does it have magical properties that will subsume my mind to its malefic will?
This man has come to you for help. He came to you for help, and you are berating him.
In that case, Lord Talfrin bows very stiffly. In that case, if you do not wish to berate this malefic, non-visible entity, I encourage you to go up there and take up that spear.
No. You should go take a gander at it with your magical eyes, but I'm just saying there's no reason to wail on poor McRae. He's obviously shaken up. Look at him. He's shaking like a leaf.
Well, I shoot my cuffs. I'm going to have a word with this voice. No voice goes telling my friends to shift around rocks and tape ancient spears up without explaining itself better.
That's
up
the
the hill.
Should we follow him? Are we going with him? Or are we just letting him go? What do you think?
I say we all go. I'm going to go grab that spear, but I want somebody to.
Are we going to have
Alfred needs to give it
to witness your
a look.
torturous and painful death.
Right.
We're not going to try to do this quietly. We're just going to chin up, run up the hill.
That's what Talfrin's doing.
I say we wait for.
Obviously, no.
I think we should wait for a lightning strike because I've noticed whenever the lightning strikes, that seems to be the best time to move.
He's gone. He's already. Doesn't matter.
I'm already at the top of
walking the hill. I'm getting my concertina out.
Right. So is Lord Talfrin away? Is that?
Yep.
Marching up
And we all
to
chase after him.
the row of cairns where you saw Kellin moving earlier. Is
Yes.
Alright saying everyone's moving after them? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Kellin, you sort of catch up a wee bit and you point out and you lead the way back to this cairn, and you guys travel down to the sort of southwest of the hill. You also notice the copse of trees up on top, but you see that Kellin is indeed telling the truth. The cairn is here. It's toppled down a bit, and you see the point of the spear poking out of the cavity that Kellin created.
Or can I get a reflexive knowledge arcana?
Would you like to do an arcana check? Yeah. Yes, you can.
All right. Something ate my die. Where did it go? Here it is. Sorry. Apologies. A 14 plus 4, 18.
Okay, it is very clear to you straight away that this is indeed an item with magical properties. However, you're unable to, unless you have a spell of identification, you're not going to get any details on it. The way anyone will get details on this is they will have to be holding the weapon, and if you
nice try, Benedict.
If you hold a weapon, this is for any magical item. If you hold a weapon and spend a short rest concentrating on the item, anyone can discover its magical properties.
I look around the hill and I say, "Well, announce yourself."
Okay, there's no answer.
McCrag, can you hear the voice?
Voice, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
That's not the sound it made.
I had to try. You can't blame me.
You hear nothing.
I'm going to grab the spear.
I advise you not to.
I've already grabbed it.
Are you grabbing it?
I'm grabbing it.
Okay, you grab the spear, and as you do, nothing happens. It's a spear.
Yes!
It's a spear. So you've got your hand on it now. It's still in there in the cairn. There's no bad sensation or anything that's happened to you. You'd certainly be able to pull it out if you're wanting to have a go with that.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Back away, just shaking his head.
So it's tall. It is tall, and it's actually slightly taller than yourself. Once you manage to pull it out, it's actually a double-ended spear. With this sort of metallic point on both ends, with twine carved on with twine. There's this thin, slightly smooth. Wooden staff, and you're able to pull it out, and as you do so, you just get the impression there's power in this thing. There's strength. You feel good holding this thing.
Hold it above your head so that the lightning strikes.
Obviously, to get any details on what happens with it, though, you would either need to, unless you did something that just happened to activate it, you'd need to spend a short rest focusing on it to figure out exactly what happens.
How long is a short rest again? Like 5 minutes?
About half an hour.
Should we retreat to the bushes and give McCrag a moment?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be anything else up here, right?
Well, there's the copse of trees.
Yes, we haven't gone very far. You know, I do like the idea of having a magical weapon against the druids. So I'm not opposed.
Lord Talfrin is watching McCrack very closely. Do you feel any unnatural... Well, no, you always feel bloodlust. Do you feel... Can you hear the voice? Is it telling you to do murderous things?
No voice.
A new voice telling you to do murderous things.
Nothing other than the ones I usually hear anyway.
Yes. Well, I must admit to being surprised. I'd expected a much more dramatic consequence.
I'm quite satisfied. Yes, this is fine.
Well, perhaps it will merely devour your personality over time or something.
Yeah, just a nibble, really, when you think about it.
It's just started.
Okay, what's the plan, guys?
Go back.
Lightning strikes again, hitting the stone wall on top of the on top of the hill, reminding you
Lord Talfrin jumps.
there's other stuff going on.
Maybe the cops?
Call the cops?
Into the
We got some real professionals
woods.
here.
We're going up to the woods.
Or should we take a short rest back?
I say
From
we go
whence
back
we
to the
came.
woods. Let's go back to the woods. Let's have a little nap. McRag can commune with his spear, and we can all empty our bladders.
Together. Yes, let's do it.
Okay.
No,
Not together, sir.
You can go and do that together.
Don't cross the streams.
Are we sneaking back to the woods? Is that the plan? Heading back north?
No, we've got a magical weapon now.
Oh, we're invincible.
We don't know what it does.
We've got McCrag.
It kills druids.
I think we should head back to the bushes. Lord Talfrin's not going to walk. He's done with this. He's feeling very put out by this whole hill experience.
So back to the
And then
path.
fails to corrupt him, and nothing here is working as it should.
So you're not going to walk? You're going to like roll? How are you getting down?
I'm going to stomp.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you guys were not being stealthy getting here on this final trip, and it's not had any effect. Are you just walking back again?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. So head on back. As you're doing so, I mean, you're on the western side of the hill at the moment. You know, it's very clear to you now that you're not really focused as much on moving stealthily, and you're not focused on your destination in particular. You all very much notice what Master Sunna had spotted earlier from her treetop vantage point. Really, on the western foot of this hill. That is where this wall of solid fog just seems to begin. This unnaturally straight sort of line of fog that just runs north to south, basically, of here. It very much begins just at the foot of this hill. Maybe about 200 feet away from you guys to the west.
Could I roll an Arcana check?
Yeah?
Maybe it's a wall of fog spell. Never seen anything like that in Barovia before. An 11.
An 11. I mean, you can't sense anything particular about it, but it very much. I mean, you feel it's exactly like what you experience on your very first hours here in Barovia. If you remember your trip into the fog and throwing the glowing rock into it and the wasting property it had on you, you very much feel that this looks to be exactly the same. Obviously. Without testing it, you don't know for sure.
Well, I tell the others, let's avoid that fog. It seems to be exactly the same as that which had that wasting effect upon.
Okay.
Good enough for me.
All right. So, guys, are we just heading back down then? Is that correct?
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Just into the trees. Are you just sort of slightly off the?
We'll get slightly off the path. Should I like cast my Lehman's Palace to protect us for the short rest? Is it worth doing that, do we think?
Half an hour.
It expends one of my 2 spells, so I mean, it's
quite precious. I would say no.
Okay.
At least if we get into a big fight with some druids, and we would need those spell slots.
Is there any kind of watch that is being put on?
Oh, I think all of us are watching but McRag. He's taking the short rest. We're all fresh as daisies. We will stand about him with our weapons pointed outward.
Okay. So would the three of you like to take perception checks then, please?
I don't. I'm 9.
Where's my perception? 3. Okay, 18.
10.
Okay. So Master Sonner, you get the impression that although there are three of you doing this job, that you're really the only one that's particularly focused on it.
I am reading a book.
Although in this case it's actually Lord Talfrin that seems to be the distracting element more than Master Malame. You do not get the impression that anything's happening, though. You certainly notice no other movement from the hill, except for the random lightning strikes that seem to be happening. So let's focus on.
Are they actually random?
Yep. There's no particular
But they
pattern.
always hit the same rock.
They always hit not the same rock, but they always hit the wall that's on the top of the hill. So from what you can tell, it's a circular wall. Obviously, you can't see inside it. And you can't see that it's definitely complete all the way around. From where you guys are positioned, you're aware that there is a gap through this wall. So you could walk in there, but it just seems to be, to be honest, it seems to be a wall about the height of the cairns that are there, sort of down below. But this one, instead of having the gaps between it, this is just a solid ring, and it keeps getting struck by lightning. But let's have a wee chat with Kellin. Kellin, are you there?
Crit-Faced is a weekly Dungeons & Dragons podcast. To make sure you never miss an episode, and to get an exclusive prequel episode of the podcast, where you can find out what our characters were up to before this adventure began, head over to critfacedpodcasts.com and join our Crit-Faced fan group.